this has got to be caveated with any sort of recurrence of the virus. I mean, the north of Spain isn't very far away from the south of France, and it's not good there at the moment as we record this. So, hopefully, none of that derails any of this. And also, travel arrangements can be sought out that'll be cost-effective, affordable for everyone, including the Catalans, as well as all the UK-based clubs, because in reality, we would normally have been flying to Barcelona or Girona for a lot of these teams, wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm sure there are alternative airports you could fly to.
There is an airport in Perpignan you can fly to, and there's a potential for deals to be done here, isn't there, with airlines that otherwise aren't going to be operating.
Yes, they've suddenly got a lot of capacity. Yeah.
Someone needs to have the commercial nous to get that sorted out. Other news. You can start with one, because I've just read a fuckload of news.
All breaking news.
I wish we'd recorded last night. It's my fault.
Yeah. So, apparently there's the World Cup happening next year. Who knew? So, the Men's 2020 Rugby League World Cup will kick off with host England against Samoa at Newcastle's St James's Park, with holders Australia against Fiji at Hull's Cairncombe Stadium on Saturday the 23rd of October. England's women open their tournament against Brazil at Headingley on Monday the 9th. The wheelchair tournament starts with a double header on the 11th of November, Spain against Norway, and then England will play Australia. Important information here, ticket prices will be made available from the 21st of August, with priority access available for those on the tournament's database being open on the 21st of September. So we can all plan our itineraries for late next year, hopefully.
Yeah, just a couple of highlights to pick out. I think rugby league fans have got a potential for a second weekend in Newcastle next year, because not only England against Samoa sort of kick it off, but then on the Saturday, but then on the Sunday you've got Scotland playing their first game of the tournament as well, haven't you? Also in Newcastle. So that's good.
Something to pencil in.
Yeah, we need to think about booking hotels and stuff. And also, it looks like they've followed the example that the Netball World Cup set, and particularly around the women's fixtures, they're playing some earlier in the afternoon rather than in the evening. So, kind of 3 o'clock-ish, where that'll encourage school groups potentially more to attend those games. So they've looked at games that potentially won't be the most high demand for ticketed sales, and looking at those ones as ways to get more people from different groups of potential supporters. And I think that's really good planning and thinking from the World Cup organising group.
Yep, it's very good news, and it's something we can all look forward to.
Wakefield Trinity can look forward to featuring former Catalans Dragons back Tony Gigot, as he signed on a deal till the end of 2021. The France international left Catalans at the end of 2019, had a brief spell playing for free at Toronto. During his time at Catalans, he became the first Frenchman to win the Lance Todd Trophy as they lifted the 2018 Challenge Cup. Meanwhile, at Wakefield as well, winger Lee Kershaw, delivery man Lee Kershaw, has extended his contract with the Super League club until the end of the 2021 season. The 21-year-old made his debut against Leeds Rhinos in April 2019. I'm really glad for Lee Kershaw that he's managed to sort something out there with Wakefield, because it looked like a bit of a shitty situation all round until that's been sorted. Tom Andrews got in touch to say, not sure how signing players sits with me when everyone has just had to take a pay cut. Mind you, Gigo's likes playing for free, so maybe he's being paid in Weatherby Whaler fish specials or something. What I would say is, I get it, people are having to pay a pay cut, but you're not then bringing Tony Gigot on more money than the rest of the squad, I wouldn't have thought. They need to sign a halfback for next year anyway, because Danny Bruff's gone, so Gigot or Hampshire could fill that halfback role next year, and one of them play the fullback role or wherever. And they've had other problems this year, haven't they? With Ben Jones-Bishop's unfortunate absence from the squad, things like that. So they've needed some reinforcements anyway. So you can't argue where clubs have to bring people. Some clubs have to bring people in for the rest of the season just to make sure they can have enough players to fill it all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, maybe he just likes a fish special, you know. Maybe he does.
Or, you know, big fan of sculpture.
Yes. Beautiful sculpture packs. So Hull KR have extended their dual reg partnership with Dewsbury. Two clubs started working together partway through last season, and in 2020 Will Oaks joined the Rams on a season-long loan. Matty G also turned out for the Championship club on dual reg terms before the season was cancelled. The two teams will also contest a pre-season friendly in 2021, from which Dewsbury will receive all gate receipts, assuming we can take them.
We. Right, do you know what?
Well,
I'm going
to family.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That I think though. I'm going to burst through all this Toulouse stuff in one go. Tony Morel has likely played his last game for Toulouse after the club announced that he will depart at the end of the season. Morel is a veteran, Morel is a veteran of more than 150 appearances for the side and has scored 75 times during that spell. Fullback or winger first joined the club in 2013 and was part of the squad that represented the club on its return to the UK leagues in 2016. Toulouse have also announced, though, a new deal for Mark Corella, one of their key players. They'll keep him at the club until the end of 2022. The Australian fullback first joined Olympique in 2012, so 10 years. Has since become their most prolific attacking players. He's a top point scorer in the club's history and was named Championship Player of the Year in 2018. They've also announced that forward Patrick Vaivai has re-signed with the club until the end of 2022. He arrived in France from Lille ahead of the 2019 season and played 22 times for Sylvain Hulls' side last year. They've confirmed, this is big news for the Championship club, they've confirmed that Hull KR prop, I didn't even write his name here, Mitch Garbott, will join the Championship club next season on a 2-year deal. The former Brisbane and Melbourne forward originally came to the UK in 2015, winning the Super League title twice and the Challenge Cup during a successful 4-year stint at Headingley before linking up with the Robins ahead of 2019. Garbott still had a year to go on his deal with Rovers, but will make the switch to France in 2021. I mean, I think this is big. Garbott's been the best forward at Hull KR when he's not been injured, so that's been the question mark over him, his injury record.
Yeah.
But stepping down to the Championship potentially for a year might be a good situation for him in that regard, but also for Toulouse, that makes them really impressive. They've already re-signed Brereton and Hansen, haven't they? And Vaivai on top of that. That's a real top-tier Championship pack that they've got for next year.
Yeah, I think, as you said, you've the optimum word there. He's got to stay fit. But yeah, Garbott's a quality player. And Toulouse have got to be the favourites next year. Looking at their squad, it's very formidable looking.
When most of their rivals have threatened to quit everything or whatever as well, it's the stability that they seem to be demonstrating is another positive, so hopefully there is real stability there.
Yep. So Bradford Bulls have confirmed that young fullback Brandon Pickersgill has signed a new 1-year deal. 23-year-old is a product of the Bulls Academy and has established himself as a mainstay in John Keir's backline after debuting in 2017. Can't believe it was that long ago, but there you go.
What do you think? Happy?
Good. Like Pickersgill.
Skillful player?
Very good player. Needs to put a bit of size on, but he's the kind of player we need. So yeah, I'm happy with keeping him.
Barrow have announced that Chairman Steve Neal has taken on an additional role as the club's general manager. Whilst retaining his role as chairman, Neal will now lead the club's administration and off-field activities.
Rochdale Hornets have continued their preparations for next year by re-signing Jordan Syme on a 12-month deal. Forward joined the Hornets on a 1-year deal from Halifax again ahead of this year and has pledged his future for next year as 12.
Huddersfield centre Jordan Turner has been granted a testimonial year in 2021. I'll have to line up an interview with him, won't we? The
Yes.
31-year-old has made more than 300 career appearances for Salford, Hull FC, St Helens and Huddersfield. Turner is preparing to tie in Jamaica's involvement in next year's World Cup as part of his plans, as well as having a testimonial match. It's good that longevity is getting rewarded wherever, even though it's not like one club longevity. I think that's positive. That's nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Wales Rugby League CEO Gareth Keir has become part of a new working group set up by Cardiff Council to find a way to honour and promote the history of the city's great rugby league players. Several of the sport's greatest ever players have hailed from Cardiff, many of them black sportsmen who had to leave South Wales to further their careers. They went on to break down barriers and became heroes and role models to hundreds of thousands of fans. Following on from the huge interest created by the BBC documentary The Rugby Code Breakers, a number of groups have come forward seeking to build on the momentum provided by the inspirational stories of players such as Billy Boston, Jim Sullivan, Roy Francis, Colin Dixon, Johnny Freeman and Clive Sullivan. So the Cardiff Council leader Hugh Thomas has invited community leaders from the Cardiff Bay area, Wales Rugby League representatives and a number of other experts to try and find the best way to use the incredible stories of the code breakers to inspire future generations and help break down barriers. The group will reconvene later this year to consider its initial findings.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? When there's a statue of the man and a stand at a stadium named after him in terms of Billy Boston, there's a whole road named after Clive Sullivan that runs through the entirety of Hull. When there's things like that exist in the towns where they've moved to, but there's no sort of memorial for these people in the towns that they came from. I'm glad that it's being recognised. Yeah,
it's really important.
It's the sort of history that should be represented,
Yes.
People who rose above the circumstances they were in to do something exceptional. And
without question.
Lots of those, those people named, they all did that and more, many more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I listened to the before-mentioned Professor Collins' podcast today about Roy Francis and the campaign to get the man of the match for the grand final renamed, and it's a compelling argument in my eyes because a great kind of player, coach, influence on the game. So I'm fully behind that. So, and
the strongest argument for it is his influence on the game, isn't it?
Yes.
All the other accolades aside, things and things that historically have significance that relate to Roy Francis and Clive Sullivan as well, in that sort of scope of conversation as well. Whilst there's things about them that have historical significance, the most significant thing is the impact they had on the sport.
Yes. Roy Francis was just a great coach.
Yeah.
He wasn't a great black coach, he was just a great coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Swinton prop Lewis Hatton has signed a new deal for the 2021 season. The 23-year-old made 32 appearances for the Lions since the start of 2019, so their squad preparations for next year continue. Warrington centre Anthony Gelling will stand trial next month after pleading not guilty to grievous bodily harm. Gelling, 29, was arrested in February and appeared at Warrington Magistrates Court today to face the charge, which he denied and was released on bail. The Cook Islands international was stood down from selection by the Wolves following the incident, which left his girlfriend hospitalised with serious injuries, including a fractured eye socket. He will now appear at Liverpool Crown Court next month.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah. If he is found guilty, let's hope the book's thrown there. Right. That's a lot of news. We're now going to move on to, I say match reviews, it's probably going to be more results and stats, but we'll move on to the match reviews where we're going to talk about round 11 of the NRL.
So we're on to the match reviews, and it'll be match reviews in brief. So it was the NRL round 11, over halfway already, and on Thursday night it was the Eels 26, the Wests Tigers 16. Couple of people in touch on this one. Alan Walker says, it was never going to be a 6-4 result, was it? If Matterson left because he wanted a ring, Packer made sure he got his head ringing. That was a hit. That'll learn him. That was old school At New School's long-range RCG try, it was a good try from Campbell Gillard, that. The porn star Tash poked through and touched up the eels.